When it comes to prescription medication, we're seeing more doctors in court for their script writing practices.
We've seen the trial of Dr. Conrad Murray. He treated Michael Jackson with propofol. He was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Now there's another doctor in trouble.
And joining us live in the studios, defense attorney John Patrick Dolan. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you too.
Good morning.
We hear of this doctor is in trouble for script writing. What can you tell us about it?
Dr. Singh, she has an office over in Rowland Heights in the southeast portion of Los Angeles. Apparently wrote 27,000 scripts for prescription medication, for pain medication in a 3-year period. 3 of the people that got medication from her died, and so the LA County District Attorney's Office now has charged 3 counts of second-degree murder and 19 other counts involving writing the scripts. Most people don't know this, but prescription drug overdose is a more common cause of death in the United States now than traffic fatalities. Very serious issue, and these pain medication clinics sometimes tend to go over the line. This is very rare that they charge a second-degree murder because it has to have an implied malice theory, and you know, when somebody comes and asks you for a script and then goes and takes it themselves, it's a little hard to get to the implied malice theory. But that didn't stop the District Attorney's Office in Los Angeles from filing it. I think it'll probably not end up in a murder conviction, but may very well be something in the realm of manslaughter. It's a very, very serious case. And interestingly, the doctor's husband, who's also a doctor, continues to run the clinic.
So can they lose their doctor's license?
Oh yes, she's already surrendered her license as part of this, and that's just on the administrative side. We're still dealing with the criminal side. On Friday, she was to be arraigned, and they pushed it off for about a month because she's got some lawyers that have some experience in this area, and it's going to be a very contested case.
Now, we haven't heard as much about Dr. Singh as, of course, Dr. Murray, perhaps because her clients weren't as high profile, but do you think we'll be hearing more about her?
I think you will. It's sort of a different circumstance because she's not administering the medication, whereas Dr. Murray was, but she is writing the prescriptions for the medication, which is sort of one step removed. Still, very serious charges, and there's enough there to at least file the charges. We'll see whether or not the district attorney can prevail.
Now, you know, of course, there's another big issue right now. Californians are facing a big problem, overcrowded prisons. We hear about it all the time, but there are some new developments with this, and Anthony, I think, has a little more information.
Yeah, we pulled together some statistics, if we can go ahead and run that page. According to healthycal.org, there's going to be 40,000 fewer inmates by 2017, and the state will be supervising 51,000 fewer parolees thanks to a historic shift of responsibility for low-level criminals from the state to county government. So what does this mean for Riverside County?
Well, it's slightly misleading. About 20,000 less right now, but they were sleeping in gymnasiums and common areas, so at least they've cleared that up. In order to meet the government's requirement, the federal government mandate, there's going to have to be about another 20,000 taken out of the prison system, so we get down to about 125, which is really even more than we're designed to have capacity for. When it says there's fewer parolees, the reason is not because there are fewer people that are being released. It's because parole has a very specific definition, and there's some new creature that's been created in the law called supervised release. So when someone has a case that doesn't go to prison, even though it's a felony, and realignment created a great number of those, the nonviolent cases, they don't go on probation. They don't go on parole, they go on supervised release. So it's a little bit of a messing around with the numbers. But I can tell you this, basically this realignment has created a situation in which people are being pushed out of the prison system and back into the county jail system. And then there are cases now that are felonies, but instead of going to prison, they go into the county jail. So we've shifted the overcrowding from the prison system to the county jail system now. And Riverside is one of the counties where we have so many people that are incarcerated that misdemeanors don't even rate a few days in jail. And you know, serious felonies, of course, violent felonies, you must keep the people, but they're kicking people out on what they call fed kicks because the jails are under a similar mandate as the state prison system. They can only have so many people based on how many beds, and once they exceed that, they have to kick somebody out. And so that's what's going on. It's a big mess, and I don't know what the answer is, although I can tell you the answer is shifting from the state to the county, at least at this point.
Now, residents who are worried about this, they say, you know, maybe there are going to be more people in our communities who are released early and are criminals. Should they be worried?
Well, I mean, you know, it's always a concern. Most of the people that are being released early are low violence drug offenders and things like car theft perpetrators. So it's not as though you're having violent criminals returned in the community, but of course anyone that's convicted of a felony that's in the community is a concern for law enforcement and the average citizen.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time as always, and we'll see you back here next Monday.
Indeed.
Thank you for joining us. Well, if you want to find out more information or if you want to ask John Patrick Dolan some questions here. Here's his email at dolanlawoffices.com. The time right now is 46 minutes after the hour.